Breaking news as he gets set to turn 73 years old this spring, Bill Belichick is going to embark on his first college coaching endeavor. He is reportedly agreeing to a 3-year, $30 million deal with North Carolina. Our lead insider, Jonathan Jones, says this deal is nearing completion and it will get done, that Belichick has agreed to become the head coach of the Tar Heels. Their rival over in Raleigh, NC State, their quarterback C.J. Bailey was asked about the possibility of facing a Bill Belichick-led team next season.
Bill Belichick can get it too, man. We go 5 years, we go, no matter who the coach is for UNC, we go kick them.
What would that mean to you, though, that you could potentially
it means
beat
a lot.
Bill Belichick?
I can actually, that means a lot that I could play against Bill Belichick, meet him, But shoot, if he comes to play, we go kill him. We're gonna kill him.
All right. Oh, see what you wish for here next year when North Carolina and North Carolina State renew their rivalry. We've got Dennis Dodd in here for a college look at this, and we have our reporting from Jonathan Jones that this is happening, that Bill Belichick has agreed. And you see the numbers reported at the bottom of the screen. More important than the salary these days for a college head coach, Dennis, is the amount of money they can pay their players. And I understand you have some reporting on what North Carolina plans to do with Bill Belichick moving forward.
Yeah, Chris, I'm being told that North Carolina, a middling program in the ACC, let's be clear, is now investing at the highest level of college football to make this work. We're talking about money that approaches what the number Ohio State had out there of $20 million in NIL money to lure players to North Carolina. You've got a situation where the president made the decision, not necessarily the athletic director, the president and the board. The new president, by the way, is from Duke, so you add that to it. I think this can go one of two ways, Chris. We've got a 3-year deal here. It could be, North Carolina gets some Deion-like shine for 2 or 3 years. They improve in some level, but at the end of that, does this program just crater and go back to where it was? Because there are some finite limits on it. The man is 72 years old. The school just fired Mac Brown, who's 73, because they perceived he's at the end of his career. And now they bring a guy in for 3 years expecting to get to the top. What we've learned, though, Chris, in the NIL era, you absolutely can get to the top very quickly. Example, SMU, Arizona State, Colorado just missed out on the Big 12 this year. So what North Carolina has to be thinking to itself, football is still king. Despite all this basketball excellence, football is still king. And if you're not relevant when this roulette wheel stops turning, you're not going to be among the chosen few. So that's a lot of what this is about.
Dennis, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm guessing you've been covering college football for 3+ decades. Maybe even more than that. You probably were around when Bill Walsh did this back 30+ years ago. How does that compare to this? I know it's a totally different era, but Bill Walsh, a multiple Super Bowl champion, that's probably the last time we've seen something like this, is it not?
Yeah. Bill Walsh was great in his own right, but we're talking about the best team sports coach of all time, maybe. I've called Nick Saban that when he was at the top of his game at Alabama. Obviously, he's a protege of Bill Belichick. But in North American sports, we're talking about the #1 team sports coach of all time. And now going down a level of college to see if he can master that. I don't doubt his passion at all. I think this is all about coaching football again. It looks like to the naked eye that there aren't going to be any NFL teams that hire him for the second straight cycle. And he's those 14 games short of the all-time record. I think, again, he could show himself, maybe bounce back up to the NFL. But the question people have to ask is, how's this going to end? And I've already talked to a lot of people at this conference I'm at in Las Vegas. The first thing that comes up is Steve Belichick, the defensive coordinator, his son at Ole Miss, is going to take over the program at some point. I'm not saying that's bad, but I think that's what people have to look at this. This happened a few years ago when Charlie Weis was at Kansas, and he wasn't trying to get him to be the head coach at Kansas, but he was trying to get him experience so he could get a job. Steve Belichick's a hell of a coach. And if they transition from Bill Belichick to Steve, and there's some sort of excellence going on, this might be one of the greatest moves of the century. going right now. So I would watch that Steve Belichick thing closely.
Dennis, talking with coaches all over the country and the way things are changing in college football, you know better than most the difficulties that these coaches, even some of the best in the game, are having with this new era, the new transfer portal, NIL. What are some of the problems that you think Bill Belichick could run into here as he tries his hand at college? Because some are saying, while college has never been more similar to the NFL, this may be perfect because at this point in time, as the NFL and college converge, they are becoming more alike than ever before. Are you buying that?
More alike in some ways, but it's so unregulated in college right now with the NIL space. I've talked to a lot of people just off camera, off the record, about locker room issues. There are a lot of locker room issues in NIL because you've got guys coming in that are freshmen that are getting more than 4-year veterans because they're 5 stars. And we're in this age when you pay for those guys coming right out of high school. In NFL, there's a structure. Everybody knows what everybody makes because draft spots are slotted. And when you get to that second contract, you've earned that second contract. You made plays on the field. So there's that going in there. You've got the NIL issue where you've got agents poaching these players, and the coaches have to go in. No, I don't care if you're Ryan Day or whoever. You have to go in there and every year and re-recruit your roster. That's below a lot of coaches, frankly. Steve Sarkisian has said it the best in the NIL era, either adapt or die. He's fine with it. Of course, he's got a great playoff team, but I'm just going to the portal tracker today, just looking at guys at their 3rd and 4th schools. Malik Murphy, why would he transfer? He just had a 3,000-yard season at Duke, and he's transferring? I don't get that. So that's gonna go on at North Carolina. And something I failed to mention, I should have mentioned up top, Bill Belichick has little or no college experience. Now, that could easily translate. I just called him the greatest North American team sports coach of all time. Maybe Red Auerbach was better. I don't know. But maybe he can adapt to this, but we'll have to see.
All right, Dennis Dodd with us and reporting that North Carolina is attempting to fund their NIL collective, and you're going to be able to pay it out of your own pockets beginning next year, assuming everything goes through this summer, and they are trying to rival Ohio State in those kinds of payments. We have a flash poll going on our CBS Sports YouTube page, and more than half of you voting give this an A for Bill Belichick taking over at North Carolina. Again, he is going to turn 73 years old in the spring, signing reportedly a 3-year deal worth $30 million when this is all said and done. There are reports that the Board of Trustees are expected to meet tomorrow to approve the deal, but our Jonathan Jones has reported that Bill Belichick has agreed to the deal.